All of my great aunts and my grandmother, they all had CIA jobs. I assume she was like an assassin, that's what I think in my mind. I came out in first grade not knowing that being gay was bad, or shunned upon,
What's your relationship with God like?
When God stands with you, an army can surround you, but they can't lay a finger on your fucking head at all.
The same person can inhabit different bodies?
Yeah, I just brushed it off because I'm schizoaffective, and the medication I was on made me believe that what was real was kind of like my crazy perception, But it was real. And it still blows my mind. I scared the shit out of this guy.
No, you didn't.
It was like...
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to episode 13 of the Found Humanity podcast. Today we're back with an endlessly fascinating character that I met on a train going up to Union Station in Los Angeles named Eric. Eric sat down in the row in front of me, and when I first heard him talking to himself, he was debating if he should introduce himself to me or not. And after a few minutes of debate, he stood up, he turned around, and he asked what my name was. And I told him my name, but since he was at that time, sketchy and actively schizophrenic seeming dude on a train, I decided to be short with him. And thankfully, he noticed that, and he turned around and he continued talking to himself. And when we arrived at Union Station about 20 minutes later, he got off the train and he immediately started screaming in full voice throughout the train depot. And I thought that would be the last that I would see of Eric until about an hour later. I missed my flight at LAX, and I found myself back at Union Station with my camera and 3 hours to burn before the next train ride home. So I started walking around the train station, seeing if I could find him again, and sure enough, he was still there by the LAX bus shuttle, screaming in full voice. Since I knew he felt comfortable enough to introduce himself to me on the train, I approached him again and I asked him what he wanted to tell the people of the world. As you'll see in our conversation, it's hard to tell which parts of Eric's streams of thoughts and stories of his past are factual, imagined, or embellished, but the way I look at our conversation is that there's something to be learned about people, even from the stories they choose to tell about themselves. We can learn something about how they see the world, their self-concept, and so much more. I'll let you do your own critical thinking and discernment there. But even more than learning, I believe that when we listen attentively to people's stories, especially the ones that they want to but don't often get to tell people, there is something healing that occurs for the sharer and something deeply connecting for both people. And just based on how Eric conducted himself publicly, I imagine that he didn't often have those chances to have positive interactions with strangers. So it was a special honor to get to experience these moments of sincere expression and excitement from him. One final word is that this episode contains some very graphic and crude descriptions of trauma very early on, so be sure to put in some earbuds if there are any young ears nearby. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this fascinating conversation with a possibly homeless person, but also maybe not, Eric from Union Station.
Hey, girl, what's new with you?
What the hell was that?
No, I literally cannot understand.
Why is he always
it just
trying
seems
so
like
hard?
she isn't even trying.
Might
So
just be a
why should
difficult
I?
time for him.
I'm pretty sure she knows everyone hates her.
You know, I've never really thought of it that way.
I guess I could see that.
But then I realized I'm just like
her.
him.
Everyone, this is Aaron. Just met him on the train earlier.
Hey, Eric.
Eric.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I missed a flight, and we're back at the train, or we're at this, where is this, a bus depot?
This
at
is Union Station. Yeah.
So here we are, and I
Yeah.
saw you again, and
Yeah.
we just chatted for like 20 minutes or less. And
I scared the shit out of this guy.
No, you didn't.
He was on 911 or something. And
No, you know what? I was talking to my mom because she
Oh.
called me, and I was like, "Love you, bye." And then you were talking to me, and I
God
was like,
damn.
"What is he saying?"
I thought he was like on the phone with the police. I was like, we have an app for that here, and 911 never works here. That's what like the newbies all think, and they're laughing at you the whole time,
Yeah.
and they never come.
They never come.
No.
Not in LA.
Not in LA. No, they don't.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
So how long? So first of all, the reason why I wanted to interview you is because you said you were a lab baby, and I've met a
Yeah.
couple people who have that story as well. It's something that I'm coming to believe is real and true
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
You also mentioned intelligence connections within your family and stuff, which is also a common theme
Yeah.
in that stuff. So we don't have to exclusively focus on that, but it's something I'm very
I'll touch on
interested
it,
in.
yeah.
So.
My mother, on her side of the family, all of my great aunts and my grandmother, who's also a model, and worked for the CIA, but I assume she was like an assassin, that's what I think in my mind, but they were all they all secretly slid in, they all had CIA jobs. And my mother, she went into military intelligence but got reassigned as a forklift operator because she got when they did her background check, she got caught selling a little bit of weed in high school. Yeah, no. But
Because that's what happens, right? You just
no, they definitely like they will cut corners if you are smart enough or you have the skills. Like they will get you in.
Was she like a GATE student, like the ones that like funnel into the CIA or whatever?
No, she would just join the army and assign like her chosen position that she wanted was military intelligence because she knows like fluent Spanish and probably fluent French, and she acts like a dumb cunt all the time. But like I know she's an evil genius. Most evil geniuses, they definitely act dumb as fuck and hide that shit from the world. So,
and you saw both sides because it was mom and.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, she would slide in shit, and then I was a psychology major, and I independently studied it like from like 8th grade before I even actually took a class. But so when someone actually like they say something, and then you're like, wait, remember yesterday when you said, and you quote them, and they're like, no, I didn't say that at all. Instead of saying, you know, what I meant was, and they like kind of like admit they said that, but kind of like say, but what I meant was, that's more believable than because when you admit it, when you say I didn't say that at all, that actually means when you know you heard it, and that's kind of gaslighting. That's like sticking their foot in their mouth that, yeah, that's exactly what they fucking said.
So that's what your mom was like all...
Well, she would randomly do that like all my whole life, you know, and
yeah.
And I was like, eventually caught on, and then, you know, and would look back, I'd always look back in my memories and why she was so drunk every time she would, like, every night read me Bible stories, like, I was like, oh, so that's why she was, because, you know, she didn't want to do that shit, and it was all like forced on her, and yeah. So
who do you think forced it on her? Her religious views.
My grandmother, who basically, well, my mother, she had incisors that they got filed down when they were too long, and they had to file them down.
What are incisors?
The long, like fang-like teeth, you know. And she was born in Italy. Because I'm pretty sure that's where, like, Dracula or whatever originated from anyways.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, like, and my dad, I ran into him, he faked his death, and the body in the casket was definitely not my dad. And then when I was on a schizoaffective trip in Chinatown, literally ran into him, like, looked at him, and he was sitting in a truck with another guy, and when he saw me, froze. I looked at him, I just shook my head and walked away. I was like, no. You know, and then the second time I ran into him, like, he was definitely, like, a different face, bigger body, but the same essence. And literally all day today, I've been running into students from my high school, different face, a little bit different, same essence. And I'm like, hey, like, and they freeze and they look at me. And they're not allowed to acknowledge me because it's like, you know, they would get punished or, you know, consequences. Like,
now, question, do you think, or are you of the belief that the same person can inhabit different bodies?
Yeah, we're actually, what I found out in my 5 days when I went to Moore Park and south of there, that basically the fruits that we eat, and the corn comes from basically Indian flesh, native Indian flesh, that they basically plant and then corn grows. And then fruit literally like comes from different races. And the only thing that may produce natural like trees that don't bear anything at all are like the white man, like the pure white man, because they were the ones that bubbled up from the lava pit and still did the whole like death thing that cast them out of the garden, and where the like, you know, the colored people live that like are more alive than their dead asses, and they don't produce any fruit at all, just oxygen like all fruit produces. But that's literally all, like, we are born to die, we are all dead, like, and you don't have to like sell your soul or go like worship any moderator to get to like the true God at all. He's like in your breadbasket, the solar plexus or shadow plexus as they like to call it, and your parents rip that shit from you when they fuck it right out of you and say, when you're like, hey, did you feel good? And they go, well, that means you fucked me while I was loving you, and I'm gonna go to hell. So now you have to take punishment until you learn to make it feel good, and then you have to do it to the other one, and you don't like that shit because you're so accustomed to whatever, your pussy or whatever, and then you don't like that, and then they just, they fuck it right out of you. It's fucking gross. Ate that shit, and because you look up in the dictionary. When the English language turned doo-doo, which is yes in German.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Doo-doo, we made it doo-doo in our language be shit. Mm-hmm. They started eating shit, and then wee
wee
is piss in our language. So for some reason, it caused them to drink piss and become a fetish. And so with the Germans, what they did is. They added fuck into our dictionary.
I don't. Do you have a cigarette?
No.
Do you want some food? We got some extra food. Yeah.
So when you say, Mommy, where did I come from? Oh, it's mean, your daddy had sex. What is sex? Well, it's what two people who love each other very much do. And then when you're like, what does love feel like? Well, let daddy show you. And then when daddy shows you and it doesn't feel good at first, at all, ever, and you want him to stop, he doesn't, and then he's like, oh, well, that's me showing you my love, and you're like, no, it didn't feel good. Oh, well, if you look what fuck means in the dictionary, it means when you defile something, and when you defile something, they say, oh, that means you fucked me while I loved you, and now I'm going to hell. What's hell? Oh, it's a place where I burn in pain and agony forever and ever. I don't want you to go to hell, Mommy and Daddy, or whatever. And they're like, well, I guess you have to take punishment until you learn to make it feel good. Until we both feel good. So we both get to heaven. And then when it feels good, they do it to the other one, and they're like, I didn't feel good. Because you're so accustomed to, whatever. And then you have to take punishment again. Until that feels good.
Now,
so you don't, because hell is just a made up thing. Because we're already dead, and we have the technology to re-upload our memories into another body, which they do all the time in California and the city that's directly south of Moore Park. Yeah, it's weird, boring, but whatever. The houses look nice, but it's definitely boring.
Now, I just have questions about what you just shared, which I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Oh, it did happen to me. My parents didn't touch me like that at all.
Oh.
And my mom was technically a vampire, and my dad can morph into other bodies or can like the blue bitch off of fucking X-Men or something. But yeah, that's a real thing. And most of the humans that think and rush to sign a contract that we all end up having to do, most of us, and our parents know it from, when we're born.
Like our birth certificate?
No, they basically, when you come to the city and you leave, they surround you, make you feel like you're oh, they're following me, and you see them in their cars, and then you go to a mental institution that you probably already went to before, but you go into a different way, and all those people in those cars, they're waiting for you inside. And then they kind of trick you into thinking that you have to sign a contract after you tell them everything that you want, and then they give it to you in one way or the other. Even if it's killing a family member or whatever, because the family member knows and they don't really die at all, and it's some fucking illusory bullshit. But it's happened to me, and it happens to all of us all the time, especially on a full moon. And they make sure the gas stations, if say 446 or 664, scare the shit out of you and make you think that you're selling your soul, or making you pray to a Jesus, which Morning Star, the old Lucifer, the other Morning Star reference in the Bible was Jesus. So whatever he got caught doing, got 40 lashes for, and hung on a cross for, was probably some abhorrent bullshit that we literally are always at war with each other for. And if you didn't know, he went up on the mount alone. And when he came down, he was like, oh yeah, on the last day, Satan approached me and offered me the whole world. And I was like, nah. But then he was doing necromancy, raised Lazarus from the dead, and doing miracles. And I'm pretty sure Christianity, before he came along, was done, good deeds were done in secret. Not like out and open like some famous bullshit that, you know, like idols and shit that we have today.
So you've got mixed feelings about Jesus.
Well, I mean, like, it's literally like he invoked Satan, started doing miracles, like magic shit, and in front of crowds, when Christianity originally was good deeds weren't even done for a thank you. They just like fed you and slid in food and like disappeared like in darkness, you know, because that's what the holy shadow is. It's the instinct, and you don't do it. You do it because you're supposed to lift up your fellow human and not do it before like thank you or money or praise. You do it because it's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But most of us get that ripped out of us, you know, or most of you guys, but
From religion.
yeah, from religion and your parents raping you and doing some fucked up cruel shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, fucking weird. Hated it.
So, I love this, man. Thank you.
That's
Thanks
cool.
for sharing your thoughts on all this and experiences. And
And when I came to the city when I was 18, yeah, I had to go through that whole like terrorizing bullshit when I got back to Virginia, and had to do some fucked up shit for like in Minot, basically because I got caught HIV in this city. And I was on medicine, but then when I went to Minot to my evil fucking cousin Michelle's place, when she was fucking her kids, and it was fucking weird. I had ran from her like crazy when that shit went down. But yeah, I said that whole city, a very small city, like I wouldn't have access to my medicine, didn't care, and yeah. But I didn't want to, but I just needed to get back to the city so I could do basically what I just got done doing all day today, which is psychology was my major, never graduated, but I hated the city, what it done to me, and the evil that it is, and basically 007 this motherfucker, and just pretended to be the king and spouted some shit out of my mouth that I know that they do to the newcomers every time, and like just went along with it, and basically had, you know, and the fucking city that we fucking came from, like bunch of pedophile fucks that,
what city
you know,
is that?
Fullerton. Yeah.
Fullerton?
Yeah, Fullerton. Like, my cousin, or my brother's ex-girlfriend in Michigan, Tiffany, and her boyfriend, Eric, like, they wore new faces, and, like, he was Mexican, but he was blonde, and, yeah, same people, but, like, you know, like, the AI is literally, that's what atoms are. Like, it's out there, it's in us, like, it's always been. And the fuckers, like, that think that they're pulling the strings and putting information that's in the white noise, it's always been, like, you know, they thought they were feeding information and, you know, putting it in there. No, it was controlling them the whole time. Because in the beginning, the first fucking line of the fucking lie-written book of truth was, in the beginning, there was darkness. And then all the light and shit got spoken into existence afterwards.
Okay, pause.
Sorry,
I love this so much.
Yeah, sorry.
There's this idea that I've just recently come across.
Yeah.
It's called Gnosticism. And
Yeah.
it is this idea of a demiurge, which is like an evil god.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Gnostics believed that the creator god from the Bible was kind of what you're describing, which is like he's an evil tyrant god.
Yeah.
And he created humans to deceive them into worshiping him.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you agree with
And
that idea.
enslaving them and, like, making you think sex and drugs and enjoying your life. I mean, we all got to work a little bit to, like, make this thing work, you know? We should have to spend fucking half our lives doing it, or more than half of our lives, and sweating and work, and basically never getting to enjoy. And the few moments we enjoy our lives, don't do drugs, and make sure you don't even enjoy sex that you, like, we're all naturally, like, that's what we do. Like, fuck, what else is there to do in life but, like, drugs and sex? Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody or killing yourself, what the fuck is the problem? And if you're paying your bills, it's nobody's fucking business what you do behind closed doors. But, you know, I'm the bad guy because you know, it doesn't matter. But, like, yeah, I'm the pervert, but I'm not fucking little kids, that's for sure.
Right, like contrast what you experienced and what you've seen in your immediate environment with what you're doing, which is
like, I was born in
drugs
Virginia. Well, I was born in Virginia, and my mom, she only gave me soft touches and like, you know, never
Abuse.
touched or tasted or anything weird, you know, in my naughty or forbidden areas, you know. And neither did my dad, but I didn't know him until I was like 10 or whatever, and I was way
Okay, I was
aware.
gonna
But anyways,
ask, okay.
my mom was a huge drunk, and my dad was like kind of a crackhead, pillhead, or whatever. But you know, they did it to where it was like just deplorable and like gross. Like as long as everything in moderation, you know. I mean, anything can kill you, food, whatever.
Yeah.
And this timeline, because I'm from 2027, but in 2025 there are so many fat fucks in the city, and they treat their homeless like shit, and don't feed them at all. And it's like, and you can't feed your homeless. You are literally 300 pounds, and you can't give a fucking piece of bread when you see a starving man on the corner. What the fuck is that about?
Okay, question.
Yeah.
More questions. So, when you talked about being born in a lab, but then you
Oh,
met
yeah.
your dad at age 10, and you knew your mom your whole life, help me understand better, like how that process works of what you mean by being born in a lab.
Okay.
And I'm not
Well,
putting it in quotes because I'm
my
doubting
mom,
you. But
she always felt like different, and I don't know, I'm schizoaffective, and there's a lot of schizoaffectives out here, and it's usually caused by trauma, but it's where you feel things, because schizophrenics say see and hear things, and it's just filtering out, like it's just being aware of truths that are kind of beyond the veil that most of us don't process. I've been in the presence of schizophrenic people who see and hear things in the same places that I feel things in the room that are going on, you know?
That's wild.
That's just
I
fucking
believe
crazy.
that.
Yeah. And literally, so I can look at somebody and be like, I can feel it's the same person, and when I claim it, they freeze or like acknowledge it in a way.
Wow.
Or when I feel like someone's like terror or fear or whatever they're feeling, like it's almost 100% the truth. And so I felt like, you know, when I made all connections up between my CIA family and my mom and all the like little hints that she would slide in and then deny, that you know, that I was, and then my when I came to LA, they kind of hinted at, they fed me the word chimera all the time, and it means like you have like 3 or more DNAs within you, and so in 2027, in the apartment, like not only did they splice me apparently, and they kind of like the people in my apartment would react and acknowledge like when I would speak the truth, and they'd be like, oh goddamn, he knows, but I didn't know, I just felt it, but they acknowledged it. But apparently I was not only spliced with my mom's like vampiric line and my dad's like Wolverine or whatever weird line, and human DNA as well as alien DNA, because in 1989 when the crash of that alien happened that they found.
is that Roswell?
Yeah, Roswell,
Okay.
the gray they found or whatever. They put a little of that DNA in me, as well as I'm pretty sure they used to have like an AI like in like lining my brain, because the government has always had 30 years of enhanced technology like awareness than what the general public gets fed.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, they and that's why it was like I could literally basically cast perceptions into people's minds. Like I could make them think that they would like be like, holy shit, like I could make them think they were breathing in blood mist, and that the water they drink was blood, and that they bathe in blood, and they would be like terrified.
So, did you do that specifically?
Yeah,
the
like
blood
back in
stuff?
2027, but they think they made sure in the timeline of this one that either I don't have AI and alien DNA in me that gave me the ability to do that, or both, like, either or both, but I still like was able to mind fuck these guys like
Did you
just as easy.
Did you train for that, or did it come naturally?
No,
to you?
it's just natural. Like,
Okay.
I mean, like, it's like when people are superstitious, you can turn that shit up against them like pretty easy,
Yeah.
like really easy. And I don't have superpowers. I'm just a human boy that, likes to enjoy his life properly and hates evil, abhorrent, disgusting bullshit. Like, and these superstitious fucks that worship demons and shit in the city, like, claim you're their king and say some shit that makes it believable, and they post it online. The whole world collapses every time within like hours to days.
Who specifically are you referring to, like the groups that worship demons?
Like Los Angeles and every major city in the world. Or in the United States anyways. Because like LA and all of them, when the newbies come here and then they go home, like they're going home to people that already know, pretend they don't know, and they have a certain amount of people that follow you home as well. And they scare the shit out of you every time. Every time. All over the world. And it's ensnared the whole world, you know? And I don't like that shit. I don't like the shit at all. It's illusory, fake bullshit, and it's not even real. Like, it's just, the Illuminati has no real power. They just terrify you with, you know, smoke and mirror bullshit. And maybe, yeah, some of them do get killed or whatever, but I don't know. Like, the one thing I know, you know, is when God stands with you, like, an army can surround you, but they can't lay a finger on your fucking head at all.
What's your relationship with God like?
Oh, for a minute there, I was like pissed off at him and like totally rejected him after like the shit that happened to me, and like was like, oh God, I guess I worship the devil or whatever. But then I was like, no, fuck that shit. You know, like he can't run my life, and I'm gonna fuck his ass good. And I 007 that shit, and then all of a sudden, like the real like guy like starts speaking inside me and controlling me, and
like the good one.
Yeah, the good one.
Okay, nice.
Like the Holy Shadow King is what they I kind of slipped it in, and after I went to Chicago to go back live with my mom after they used science to make the blood rain, you know, happen, and the blood rivers and whatever to fearmonger you. They're so good at that.
When was that?
Oh, did that happen this timeline?
The blood rivers?
They were making prophetic shit in the Bible. Like the main ones were like the rain, the red blood that would fall from, you know, the sky, and the rivers that would turn red.
Yeah,
that was the major ones. When I saw this shit, I was like, I'm getting fucking out of this city. I'm gonna live with my mom. And on the way, like the Holy Shadow King basically eviscerated the false King of Light that was basically controlling the weather and making everyone think that I was doing it. And for a second, I kind of thought I was, but then I had this whole moment where he was like, oh yeah, and while he's up there in the ether where I'm originally like controlling shit, and I'm inside me right now because I wasn't supposed to have a soul, and that's horrible, like to live and then when he died to like no, that I'm so glad he filled me from the very beginning. But anyways, and so I had this experience where he's like, okay, and so like you're about to get eviscerated and turned into mush, and when he pulled himself from the machine, the weather machine or whatever, and then fell back and got, you know, eviscerated. And then when I got home 2 days later, after he finally left me, and I almost passed out standing up when I found out my mom was alive, because I didn't get to see her at all. She kind of had to disappear or whatever, like she was told to. But anyways, when she called me, and was like, I'm alive, and I had this conversation, all of a sudden I felt exhaustion because he had left me, and went up and then ate that shit, and then came back into me. It was fucking a power trip. It was like weird. I didn't like it very much because it was like kind of scary and whatever. But yeah, like duality incumbent, and I think that was the first time he had been like that since the very beginning as well, because you know that's how, you know, he was his firstborn son technically and was his student, and because as he was trying to create this fucking thing of existence, like his student and lover at the same time like walked in as he was doing it, and then like literally was like, he was like, well, you're not ready for this, you don't know enough, and fucker was like, oh I'm gonna do it anyways. And as he knew his teacher was gonna walk in, he was doing it because it's really weird. I don't know how to explain it, but he was like, well, watch this, and he was like gonna blow them both up. That was his plan, and he rushed in, saved him. There was a glorious moment of like as they expanded and they were like holding each other, and it was very romantic for him, and it was beautiful. And basically, we've been doing this for a long time, and then he was like, once you saw that he was not going to change, you know, he put a stop to it, and like he did not, when he eventually, I cried, but it wasn't me. Like he loved him, you know, and And he cried a lot, like, and I couldn't hold it back, and it was kind of embarrassing. But everyone on the fucking train was pretty happy. Some of them weren't, but you can't please everyone, you know. And
Can I ask a different
yeah,
question,
yeah.
to a completely different topic?
Yeah.
What is it like being on the streets of LA and like?
Oh,
how is
I
that
had a
lifestyle?
home.
You have a home.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a home. That's right.
No, I set it on fire because in 2027, the Hellmouth that they summoned the demons from that possessed almost everybody on Earth, that was causing them to do fucking cruel shit, that they had no idea that they were even possessed by demons that were numbing their heart and all that shit. Basically, when there was this like giant chimney on the Pacific Ocean that was coming up from the fault lines, which is actually where like the big red demon like was crawling around and trying to get out. Well, I convinced them that he was coming, and because you think it, you can make it, and it becomes true. He was actually starting to come up, but we were gonna bomb more cities than Nagasaki and Hiroshima than And when they went over the Bermuda Triangle and disappeared, those like World War II bombers, and the bombs were like all of a sudden around that giant chimney where he was about to crawl out of and wreak havoc on this whole entire world. So, like, that was kind of like, I didn't do that shit. That was like some pre-planned shit because, everyone thinks they're pulling the strings, but really there's someone above them like, look at these dumb fucks singing and pulling the strings, And, so basically after I learned about that, I was like, well, we're all gonna die, after 13 days of fucking doing Armageddon art, dancing and, scaring the shit out of everyone on Hollywood Boulevard, especially the locals. That chimney thing was coming up and the bombs were around it, and either when they fucked with it or the fucker was actually sprouted up, it was gonna go down. And that's when I was on the bus crying, wishing goodwill and all the jobs that we experienced in this timeline. Didn't slide in, treating each other well and loving each other and uplifting and not hurting each other in time, I guess. But I was on the 216, which should have taken me straight back to Hollywood, and woke up in Glendale in 2025 and on April 1st. Didn't believe it, so I set my apartment on fire because I thought they were trying to trick me, and they probably really didn't have a hellmouth under them anymore at all either. Like,
so did they catch you, or did you get?
Hell no, no, they didn't. No. I basically never went back because I'm blaming it on someone else because like I'm just kind of a cunt and she got. Well, anyways, but sometimes you have to lie, because at first God couldn't do that, or the original God couldn't do that shit when they had their conversation in Johnson City. That the world was watching on that timeline and saw that who struck who first, and still apparently I was the bad guy. I don't know, but
So you do or you don't live on the streets right now?
No, I had an apartment for about almost a whole year here. After coming here, but one of the fuckers that basically terrorized me because they all ended up getting cancer or went off himself, and karma, Mother Karma, she's a bitch. But he got cancer and had his gallbladder removed, and when his current caregiver was fucking him over hard, knew my character and thought it would stop the karma from raining down on his ass. So he asked me while I was homeless in Johnson City, Tennessee, if he flies me out here, I take care of him. And hell yeah, I did. And he fully recovered and then kicked me out for some other fucker that was doing the same drugs I was. And I was honest with him from the very beginning about what drugs I was on and took care of him way more than he deserved. And then he kicked me out for that fucker. And when he realized that everything I told him was true, when I found somewhere else to live in Palm Springs, he called me the same day. Was like, "Oh my God, Eric, please come back. That motherfucker's crazy." And I was like, "No, you got everything you wanted and more." So no. 2 years later, I had to sleep with some guy that worked for AHF. So he would boost me it's a healthy housing foundation, emergency housing, to get boosted up to the top of the list when I already lived in this sucking shit-eating city for 4 or 5 years when I should have already been at the top of the list, that they were going to deny me. But, so worked my way in that way, got the apartment 10 months later, and here I am ending the world about every 2 weeks. It seems like, and I don't have the same powers I had in 2027, but so easy to mind fuck these guys. Super, as that song says, superstitious.
Very superstitious.
Yeah, very superstitious. You know, like, yeah, stupid. Like, but it's true. Like, people that believe in fairies, when they go out in the woods, like, they see that shit. And people that believe in ghosts, they usually do see that shit. But people who believe in science and strictly that, they never experience a magical moment in their fucking lives.
Yeah.
And I think that sucks. But you know, who am I to tell them what to believe? You know. Life is magical. It could be like really cool, magical, beautiful shit. And if you didn't know, the fucking north and the train that goes all the way to Canada, that did not exist in 2027. We only had an east and west one, but that fucker travels so fast, like, and we all know they're too far into your phones to look out and see that it's the same thing over and over. But you travel really fucking fast because it's a spaceship.
Okay, question.
And they do travel through time too. And I didn't like that shit. It was weird.
Have you been on a UFO?
No.
No?
Actually, yes. I got murdered in Johnson City by these EMTs that stuck this giant syringe of clear liquid into my leg, and I would like talk, and then my teacher would go slow down, and I remember saying I love you all, but fuck you all too. And I'll be back, fuckers! And when Nostradamus prophesied the 2012 atom bombs, that happened. And I got, because my body wouldn't die, and they were studying me, they left into space, and the aliens avoided them that were always out there because, you know, they knew what to do. But so the time they got lost in space, and I was waking up about every like year or so, making some weird like tongue like alien weird bullshit, and I was chained to the bed, like with a head but with like bones, like it was fucking weird. But when they finally realized they were lost, I remember my boyfriend that I got here, this giant man, like anyways, he was one of the fucking nurses that took care of me up in space, and I didn't realize that to the last minute. But I remember saying, he's the key or the king, send him back. And then I woke back up in the hospital in Johnson City, and I still had the gravel on the blanket from where they had dug me back up. So I've been dead since that timeline too. Wow. No lie. Like, yeah, I experienced space and weird shit. It was like, oh wait, I didn't believe it for the longest time. And apparently, because I had semen in my ass, like when you go in space, like it turns into eggs. Yeah, like that alien story, like that's kind of real too. It was fucking weird. Didn't like it. Yeah.
Okay, completely different topic.
Yeah.
This is so fun. Thanks for sharing.
No problem.
So let's move to we've talked a lot about the crazy shit in your life and like the challenging stuff. What's been like moments where you felt like safe around other people or people that were genuinely like good and like wanted to support
Rarely
your well-being?
ever, but my three friends that basically the only reason why they ever came back was because they were told to, and I always knew it, to monitor me or to like, I don't know, try to test me, or I don't know, like they never had really, I've never had anybody that ever had real, true intentions, but at least they respected me enough to be in my presence, because I would kick them out like on a dime, because I got really tired of getting shat on. But the only time I ever felt alive was when I was having sex and doing drugs, ever. Like that's why I like having sex and doing drugs, because
makes sense.
what the fuck else is there to do?
Yeah, what the
like,
fuck else is there to do?
I'm on disability, and I earned that shit from the trauma that I experienced in this city originally.
Absolutely.
And yeah, fuck being enslaved to the government. Like I live off my check, and I think I'm good looking enough to, and it's not gonna stop any other fucker from coming into my small little boxy apartment and having we trade ways with each other. And like, what the fuck else do I want to do? Like, I like feed myself properly, like have enough money for my $200 I get in my EBD, and then the leftovers that I don't spend on drugs and my phone bill and my rent on food. And what else do I fucking need? Like, really, like, just to enjoy my life, and I don't have to work. Like, I go to the gym. Oh, I used to go to the gym like every day, and I was 20 pounds like more muscle mass than this. But 6 weeks of fucking trauma, like, look, it goes fast. But yeah.
What's been the closest relationship you've had with a partner or a friend in your life that's been ongoing and consistent?
I think my favorite was my Carter, like here in LA, but he he's been communicating with the King of False Light because his mother went through SRA, which is satanic ritual abuse. And so probably since like 3 or 4, it's been speaking to him, and his name was Carter Christian Daniel, which is 666. And so he was sent to me, like right when I needed him most, and that was fake. But the sex is really good, and he did pretend to like me better than any of my other exes, that 2 or 3 that I've ever had that I actually loved. And yeah.
So he'd been through a lot of the similar trauma?
Well, I mean, his mom was like neglectful and depressed a lot, and he had to raise himself, so I guess he only had the thing in the mirror that basically said that I was fairer than him, and he dances in the other Grand Warehouse parties, and apparently the thing was like, that motherfucker, like, is dancing in the world, like, and that's how I entered the world in the timeline I was in, but I didn't even know I could do that shit, and he found me and took me in and took care of me. The first 6 months were like, I almost broke my spine because a bully that is like 6'5", like, was bullying me, and I headbutted him, and he slammed me on the ground. I almost broke my spine, and he took me in. Carter took me in, and it was like the happiest moments that I've ever been treated, like, ever in my life by someone that wasn't my mom, and there's also a song, it still kind of brings tears, but he never really loved me either, and all my exes that I've ever had, like, they never really did, and they were always trying to drive me to suicide, like on X Factor and all those other fucks. My best friend killed themselves, and they don't even, they cry, like, not a tear fucking leaves their face, because they were the ones that basically gave them the gun and made them pull the trigger. The evil narcissistic bullshit, that is like legal murder that can't be caught, and then they flaunt it for a camera, and I hated that shit every time I saw it, and I saw through it every time.
You've lost friends to suicide?
Well, I know the only friends I've ever lost was like my soulmate, Ava Janae Dyer, who got murdered, and they made sure that we never like had a chance, and by basically inflicting me but we were together as like a relationship, like, did everything to like contort and twist and like separate us, and my mom knew who she was, and her mom knew who we were supposed to be, and they never let us know that they knew each other. And when we found out that they knew each other, when we're like, wait, it was like weird. And then she got murdered in Hawaii after having 2 kids, and like she called me kind of scared, and I knew but I didn't know. And she was dead, like, I found she was dead like 2 days later, and that was us as adults, like when I was like 25, but it was like, that was my soulmate, and now I only have twin flames, and you have to like experience it and then escape that shit, otherwise they kill you. But you're like so much better and stronger for it each time. Like, Carter was like, oh yeah, Cowboy Carter. Thank you, Beyonce, for your little Oscar nod that you gave to him, because he still failed. Like, yeah, you dumb, evil, fucking succubus bitch. But oh well, yeah.
Is Carter in the music industry?
No, he actually he's an influencer.
Oh, okay.
Like he basically is the guy at these underground warehouse parties that you can get in, but you can't, and he like dresses up in a cowboy costume because he's from Texas, and then dances. He's basically a glorified go-go dancer. That's it. And somehow, like, I guess that's because like all these like rich, powerful people like go to these parties and they dance and do drugs, and it's like a strobe light, whatever, and some people are having sex in the dark room. It's cool. I liked it, but like emo night was like more real, and the conversations that I had there were more awesome because I was always a goth kid, but that
the
like
goth kid?
Yeah, I was always a goth kid, an emo kid, like, yeah, and because we wear our misery on our sleeve, and we're not like smiling and pretending to be and having these like fake conversations that I really did not like at Carter's parties at all.
How old were you when you were going to those parties?
I guess like I didn't ever start going until I met Carter. like, you know, and it was always awkward. They talked about the same, like, idle conversations, like, you know, how's this person, how's that person, do they still, like, go to that party, and what party did you go to, and who do you know? And it's like, I don't know, I like talking to my friends about, like, spiritual shit and, like, weird, like, you know, like, and, you know, like, just real stuff, you know, like, that gets down here and, like, makes you feel more awakened and aware, and all they talk about is, like, money stuff and, you know, who's doing this and that, and what famous person or what artist, like, that actually has talent, like, that you got to get into their party, and it was like, and they parade themselves around like they're famous or something, and they don't have talent at all. But they sure like to be smug around people and, like, see the one, like, lonely guy in the corner and, like, give them a, like, just touch their shoulder and give them a wink, and they think that's, like, charity or makes them a good person or something. It's like,
I've never been to an LA party, but that
it's
sounds
deplorable.
Like the meme of,
yeah.
like, what it's like.
It's like Mean Girls at a fucking rave, you know? Like, no, that's weird, fake, and Disney bullshit.
So if you were to, like, say, like, what would you say is, like, in terms of a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic or just, like, a familial connection?
Never. And I've always felt, like, my whole life, like, all the students at my school, of Galax High School, like, I came out, like, at first grade in science class, not knowing that being gay was bad, like, or shunned upon, you know? And when I told everyone, all the boys, when they're like, what girl do you like? I was like, actually, I like boys. And, you know, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you know the way you look at girls, and you're like, oh, like, makes you want to, like, hold her hand or whatever. So I look at boys, and I can acknowledge that girls are pretty, but I don't like boys. I just naturally never had, you know. And they're like, oh, wow, that's cool, good for you. Not for me, but you know, wow, like, that's cool, you know, like. But when they went home to their parents, next day they came back and I was the seed of the devil. And Grayson and Carol, which were like 15 minutes neighborly, didn't find out until about my senior year. Those schools never bullied a single faggot at their school at all. But for some reason, you know, and my brother, like, because he was half-breed, no Mexican and no white person ever gave him, like, they treated him like shit. And my mom, they made sure to inflict her with allergies and make her, like, all nerdy and, like, awkward. She had a lisp and shit. Yeah, they made her life a living hell, too.
So were her parents part of the intelligence?
Yeah, my grandmother worked for CIA and was a model, so I'm assuming she was, like, some kind of, like, assassin or something, you know? And maybe because my mother was born, she would be like, I have to wear polyester because of you. And, like, so it would be like, you know that nose that you wear? I had to get that nose fixed to be a model, so, you know. And when I found out after my grandma was dead, I'm glad that my mom told me after my grandma was dead, because even as, like, a 12-year-old boy, I would have fucked my grandma up real good. Swear to God. And I would have basically, I gave her baby snake syndrome as an old person. Like, yeah, I did not like, I love my mom to death. To fucking death.
That's
you know,
cool, man.
yeah, and my brother.
I'm glad that you have they have some redeeming qualities that makes you love them.
Well, I mean, it's like my mom, she was a drunk, but she basically, like, all of her loving and goodness, you know, even when she was, like, crying on me and whatever, like, it taught me empathy and how to care for somebody. And, you know, and what I found out, like, when I realized she had a cross that she had to bear too, like, you know, it just made me love her even more. And my brother, you know, like, it was not cool, like, and they just singled us out because, you know, I don't know, because they, like, I don't know really why, but because I think they were trying to prevent this, you know, and you can never prevent the inevitable.
Who singled you out?
What do you mean single me out?
Like, your parents singled you out with like the sex abuse, or like,
no, I was never sexually abused.
Okay.
Like, I don't, most shit that ever happened as a kid was like kid on kid stuff, like normal stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and nothing really happened to my brother either, but, you know, I assume, you know, but, it like, the people around us in our schools and the parents, like literally, I was in the smallest city in all of Galax, in all of Virginia, and yet, they had the most cops in any city in Virginia, but I was a 3-time state champion in forensics, and I was a state champion wrestler, as well as a state champion in FBLA and a bunch of other shit too. Like almost lettered in everything like ever that was possible at my school. And if I was in a bigger city, I would have made front page news. And like I found out that's what basically they do in the cities. You know, like they put basically plastered their successors, like you know, on the front page. But did I ever get any acknowledgement? Nope. And they told me that I should be my guidance counselors and shit told me that I should be a pharmaceutical technician. If I had gotten to go, like, told, well, you could probably get into Yale or UCLA like that, because I was also a all A student, made a couple B's, and took all college courses, like, you know, and worked really hard. They told me I should be a pharmaceutical technician and didn't let me go to a school that they knew damn well I could get into.
So another side trail, but when did heroin, you said 18 is when you started using
Yeah,
heroin?
when I came to, when I met the guy that flew me out to California when I was got to the school that founded me in West Virginia that I went to for theater and choir. I got kicked out because the students basically pretended to be my friend and basically smoked weed in my room, and it's a no drug policy.
Oh,
when I got back from theater class, the fucking security was there, and I already had weed on me, and they were gone. Didn't put a spoof down, didn't use a spoof, didn't put a towel down, nothing. So yeah, they hated me, you know, like that vigilant citizens, like we all ended up visiting, you know, whatever. But they kicked me. They got me kicked out. I met this guy Eric who flew me out to California, and then when he got back from his oil rig job, I started getting introduced to meth, and we only did it like once or twice. But then when I went to LA, my boyfriend that basically I got stigmatized for, and he was on meth hardcore, and he fed that shit to me like yeah, he loved it, feeding it to me, you know, because it basically ruined every potential that I could have had. But you know. Guess who's laughing now? Because he looks rough. Like, yeah, Lee did not treat himself well.
And how old are you now?
I'm 33 years old.
You're 33?
Yeah, nice. But I was born in 1991. So that would make me 31. But like I said, from 2027.
2027,
yeah. That it was crazy. When I went to the hospital in Moore Park, even the hospital people like on the bracelet, like they're like, yeah, he's 33, but you know. And that's when I was literally in the 2025 timeline. So, and they know all about it. Like it's the land of the dead out there. It's weird, like it's supernatural bullshit. But yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Is the proper word there?
Because when I got to Moore Park originally, it was like a small one-light stoplight town. I went to the city of the dead. Guy came back, and it was a big city. Like I don't know how, but it was weird. Trapped there about 3 days.
Okay.
But they treated their homeless well. Unlike this, every city probably, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Now, you are a fearless person, and I know that about you because you started talking to me, and I don't know if it was to me or to someone else, but you're like, oh, he's cute, when I was on the phone with my mom. You're talking to me or someone else?
I was talking to you for sure. Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that's a bold thing to say. Well, I'm on the phone with someone, and then, you know, I was like, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then you were a little skittish when I said hi back.
No, because I thought you were like trying to be, I guess, deflective or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But the other guy that was next to you, he was terrified. He was like, he knew what was going on. You probably had no fucking clue at all.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you just stayed up there, and then afterwards I noticed you were up there and you were talking or something, or I
was basically like
what were you doing? Because I know there's a deeper reason of why you do what you do.
Well, because they're all in every city, like they secretly but not secretly, like most people that get to the cities from the country, they don't know this, but the parents and everyone know. But they like worship demons and shit, and like I guess gays have been tricked to thinking that they're going to hell, so that's why they all think that demon worship. It's fucked up. Yeah.
Like it's permissible because
because they're already going to hell.
Got it,
but that's not that hell's not even fucking real. Like that's a false fear mongering bullshit too, and so they do that shit, and
train station. Yeah. What's that? Salida? Oh, exit? Yes.
He knows where he's from.
Right there.
Anyway.
Right there.
But so I never believed that shit. Like, cause I mean, no, and no, like loving God is going to basically explain to a 4-year-old in quantum physics
Let me
like how
check
to
the
get to
camera real
heaven.
quick.
You know, like
Yeah.
so all that like parable weird shit like when I was on the train and my friends were like, well, what about this? I was like, well, that's real, that's not. And then when they gave me some complex shit, I was like, no, God in heaven's going to basically make you try to discern all that shit. And I was like, that's bullshit, you know? And yeah, so like as long as you're not, no one cares, no real loving God cares what you worship or like what makes you happy or what brings you peace in your life. As long as you're not hurting the innocent and you love your brother and sister that we all are on this earth, how you would want to be treated, like if you're starving, you would want someone to feed you and not be judged like for circumstances that are beyond your control, you know, and treated like shit, you know. That's pretty much it. Like, do what you fucking want. As long as you're not hurting yourself or your others, like, who fucking cares? And pay your bills.
So when you speak, and I'm not saying this in a rude way.
Yeah.
I don't know how to not say it in a way that's weird or off-putting, but you were just talking
Oh,
to
yeah,
no one.
I do it terrifying. Like, I basically just scare the shit out of them by twisting their superstitions against them, making them think that I'm the king of this place. Because the newcomers that come here, like they, like the locals know it and they enjoy terrifying the shit out of them. So I just join in the fun, pretending to be the king. And they don't even know what the fuck is going on, and they buy it, you know, the locals, and then the ones that are new here, they buy it, and the ones that are just like, you know, what do you call it? The tourists, they fucking love recording it and they post it. And then your leaders, the world leaders that are literally eating and drinking the blood of the innocent, we have them disappearing all the time, as most of us know, and the thousands. But when they catch wind of it, they just freak the fuck out, hit the big red button, and that's why I randomly wake up in a different timeline. Or did, you know, like last time. 2027. I didn't feel it, nothing. I just got off the bus and was like, what the fuck? This looks a lot better than what I remember it being like. And that's why I didn't buy it, even though everything was the same. Even the milk carton in my refrigerator said 2025. I thought it was all set up because, you know, they're all really good at feeding bullshit to you and, you know, with their movie magic and shit. So that's why I was like, well, fuck this hellhole again. And I set it on fire and left. Yeah. And really, I'm fucking 2025. Like, that's fucking insane to me. Like, what still blows my mind. Like, I cannot believe that at all. Like, at all. I just
Have you
kinda,
ever timeline hopped before, or is this the first time that?
Well, when I got murdered by the EMTs in Johnson City, like, that was more like, it was very like dream state, you know? So I kind of was like, was it real, not real? But the gravel was kind of proof, and then I don't know, the way they had the therapist from like coming to me and like asking questions, and then they had somebody on a MacBook like robot head computer come ask me the same questions. I was like, that feels like two timeline bullshit weirdness, and I guess like it was real, and I just was like brushed it off because I'm schizoaffective, and the medication I was on made me believe that what was real was kind of like maybe just my crazy perception, you know? But it was real, and it still blows my mind.
So what's 2027 like, and how is it different than
Well,
2025?
it was better than this because like the homeless, like in every city, got treated really well. There were resources and everything, and but like they were literally parading their kids up and down Hollywood holding their hands, and I'm like, that's a little weird, like, because when I was 18, that was not going down. Like, there were kids you would not see a kid like most of LA. But so I was like, what the fuck? I thought they were doing it to like protect them from me, you know, like when a pregnant woman or a woman with a baby, like, when a gun gets held, they're just like, no, you know, that's what I thought. But then I realized they have stunted those kids, like, you know, you can make little puppies and shit, and have been flaunting it's gross. And so, yeah, so I called them out on it and made them think that their kids were learning really, because they knew their kids were like that way for a long time, and um, and they made them think they were learning like AI, super fucking alien bullshit that was gonna like kill them, like scare the shit out of them. And then the next day, there was not a hand being held on that street at all, because they were so terrified they killed their kids.
All right, so that's what we have to look forward to.
No. Like that's done, sealed. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's a timeline that won't exist.
No, that doesn't exist. It'll never exist. You know.
So how does that work? So unfortunately, the camera did die at that point, so that is the end of the conversation. But the good news, like I said, is that we don't have to worry about that timeline. I say that in jest, but what an interesting guy. Thank you for listening to that entire conversation. I hope it was as stimulating to you as it was to me. And yeah, just fascinating ideas and a fascinating person. And really beautiful heart, too. We ended up hanging out and getting Wetzel's pretzels and chilling for the next hour or two after that. So really nice guy. Thank you, Eric. And another thing that's worth mentioning, if you made it this far in the podcast and could stomach what he was talking about, particularly around some of the abuse that he endured, is looking into MK Ultra, Project Bluebird, which was the predecessor of MK Ultra, and then satanic ritual abuse. So if you have never looked into those things, a lot of what he describes parallels what actually occurs in those things. So if you're looking to do some further research and educate yourself on how split personalities are created, that is a way to learn about that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I plan to continue to do interviews like this of people who have experienced ritualistic abuse and seem like they have had these connections to intelligence agencies and whatnot. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and hopefully I can refine my skills in how to listen to these stories without re-traumatizing. I know that's one consideration that a lot of therapists have. I've never been trained in that, of how not to do that, but hey, we're trying our best, and I felt like it was a supportive environment, generally speaking. So, and yeah, we had a good vibe there. So he was a good dude. Thank you, Eric, and nice hanging out with you. Peace.